In the beginning, we are told about the world of Babel, where all the living creatures that inhabit this world draw their strength from one source, alchemy. Humanity developed magic that helped them shape alchemy, and with that magic, they even changed the laws of nature. Those who would use such magic were called alchemists. With such new possibilities, new battles came as well. They even summoned the souls of great heroes from the past to fight for them, and they called them phantoms. In the center of this world stands the Tower of Babel. As the center of alchemy, this tower has watched over countless births, deaths, and battles, both in the present and in the past. We find ourselves in a bustling city where everything seems peaceful and the people are living happily. All of a sudden, dark-colored constructs attack, burning destruction all over the city. 3 alchemists join the defense and identify the attackers as black mages: the swordsman Lovi, a gun-wielder Edgar, and a flying sorceress Lisbeth. They are accompanied by the phantoms they summoned, Setsuna, Tsunain, Nyx, and Mira. The battle seems to be going in their favor, but then an ancient 5-headed dragon called Destruct appears. We can see him taking over the Tower of Babel in the distance as he wraps his enormous body around it. Releasing some sort of dark magic, he emits a pulse that takes away the alchemist's powers while empowering the black mages they are fighting. With the black mages empowered and the alchemists without their magic, the battle shifts for the worse. The 4 phantoms get defeated and disappear. The town, together with its citizens, is being destroyed. Lisbeth watches in fear towards the Tower of Babel, stating how the laws of their world have changed. In modern-day Japan, there is a high school girl named Kasumi. We can see she is struggling with her studies and gets distracted easily, zoning off into the distance. At home, she is preparing a meal, but her mother tells her that she doesn't have to bother. During dinner, mother admonishes Kasumi for wandering off too much, telling her how she needs to work twice as hard because she is not as good as others with studies. Going back to her room, Kasumi studies hard, pushing herself and even falling asleep on her desk. The next morning, she is on her way to school when she starts hearing a voice in her mind. The scene shifts and we see hooded figures fighting against dark mages. They are buying time for one of them who is casting a spell, stating how the fate of their world depends on Kasumi. The spell is cast and Kasumi can hear someone calling out to her loud and clear. She finds herself on a bridge as magic circles appear on the surface of the water below. Trying to reach for it, Kasumi walks off the bridge and plunges into the water. People who are passing by are in a panic as they see her jump off the bridge. Kasumi finds herself in front of Ouroboros, a girl calling herself the Overseer of Fate who connects the truth and the world. Ouroboros says that there is a desperate voice risking its life to summon Kasumi, so in respect to that voice she will grant her power. But in order to use that power she needs to have a strong will. Afterwards, she sends Kasumi forth to the world of Babel. We can see that 2 of the robed figures who are summoning Kasumi are in fact Lisbeth and Edgar. The 2 of them see a brilliant pillar of light, realizing that this is where the one they summoned must have landed. Quickly, they run off in that direction. Kasumi regains her senses in a dark forest. Very quickly, she is discovered and attacked by a dark mage. She can hear the screams coming from the dark mage in her mind. But before anything else happens, Lisbeth and Edgar arrive. They call Kasumi a phantom and ask her to defeat the dark mage. But Kasumi is confused and does not understand what is going on. Lisbeth and Edgar realize something is wrong and decide to run, escaping with Kasumi. Once they are in a safe spot, they pause and talk. After introducing themselves to each other, they realize that Kasumi is not from this world. They explain to her that she was summoned as a phantom, which means that she is dead. That information shocks her, but she vaguely remembers the fall from the bridge and the sensation of sinking deep into the water. Lisbeth explains how phantoms get a new body when summoned, and they tell her about the world she is now in, and how the darkness spread from the Tower of Babel after Destruct took it over. After noticing that Kasumi can't fight, they figure it would be best to dismiss her. But Lisbeth doesn't know how to do it, because there are no instructions for it in the book she used, stating how this summoning was different since she did not use any alchemy for it. With no other option, they bring Kasumi with them to a hidden village, where they prepare a room for Kasumi to stay in. As she gets some time alone with Lisbeth, the 2 of them grow closer as Kasumi tells her about her life in our world. Lisbeth promises she will take responsibility for bringing her into this world. The rumor about Kasumi being a useless phantom spreads quickly around the village. Trying to do something to be of use, she discovers that the cooking culture is not as advanced in this world. Putting her cooking skills to use, she prepares meals for everyone, and is quickly accepted as a member thanks to the tasty meals. With everyone slowly warming up to Kasumi, they notice that their ability to use alchemy returns. Those capable of using magic rejoice. But not for long, as their magic use attracts the dark mages and they launch an attack on the hidden village. The small amount of magic they are able to do does not help much in the fight, and everyone is getting pushed back by the dark mages. As many people are dying, Kasumi tries to help in any way she can. But But she is no fighter, and as a dark mage is about to kill her, she is saved by Edgar and Lisbeth. Then all of a sudden, the phantoms from the beginning, Satsuma, Znain, Nyx, and Mira appear. But they look and behave differently, overtaken by darkness. Now fighting against Edgar and Lisbeth, they join the dark mages in the destruction of the town. Before shifting their focus on Kasumi, she tries running away but is blasted by a projectile. When she recovers, she sees that Edgar and Lisbeth have been defeated, with the rest of the town on fire. Looking around, she realizes she is next to a defeated dark mage. Hearing desperate voices from within it once again, Kasumi reaches out and is overwhelmed by the emotions of the people who have died to the dark mages, their last moments flashing before her eyes as well as their desperate desire to live. That awakens the power within her and she transforms the dark mage into a white mage. The white mage starts fighting the dark mages, defeating them with ease. The four phantoms feel her emotions inside of their hearts and decide to withdraw, deciding that she is too dangerous and must be destroyed soon. Lisbeth declares that Kasumi must be an alchemist of light. With all of the enemies gone, Kasumi faints and the white mage disappears. Once she comes to, the villagers are preparing to move to another hideout. Lisbeth and Edgar are heading out as well, but to fight the dark mages instead. Joined by some soldiers from the village, they ask Kasumi to help them fight as the fate of their world depends on it. She confesses that she is not sure how to use her powers and as such does not know of how much help she will be, but she wants to join them and help. They head towards the Tower of Babel. While stopping to rest, Kasumi and Lisbeth talk some more. Kasumi tells her about her childhood. She used to play around a lot and loves acting, but while pretending to be a hero, she had an accident and ended up in the hospital. After that, she gave up on becoming an actress in order to not worry her mother. While chatting, they are approached by another girl. From Lisbeth's reaction, we learn that she is Tina, another magic user and a friend. Tina's magic allows her to commune with the nature and spirits, and even see the future. However, since the alchemy magic disappeared, her powers are very limited. Once out of earshot of Kasumi, Tina tells the others that Kasumi will disappear as she banishes the darkness. Kasumi overhears that and states how she is not bothered by it, considering she is already dead. As she is speaking, we can see darkness slowly taking over her body and the phantom Znain appears behind her. He proceeds to kidnap Kasumi. Kasumi finds herself trapped with the four dark phantoms talking to her. There she learns that they desire for everything to return to nothingness, as it is the will of the dragon to struck, telling her how this world is caught in endless conflict, and it would be better if it was all gone. Trying to convince her to embrace the darkness, she is forced to confront the darkness within herself, and is faced with all the negative emotions and experiences she was subjected to in the past. As she is losing herself, Lisbeth, Edgar, and Tina locate her, but she rejects them. Lisbeth tries her best to make her voice reach Kasumi, finally sacrificing herself to pull her out of the dark prison, ending up covered with dark marks like the ones Kasumi had before. The four dark phantoms engage them in combat, where they are rescued by a hooded figure in the last moment. Edgar grabs Kasumi and retreats from the fight with her fainting along the way. Once she comes to, she finds herself in a ruined place. Edgar is visiting some nearby graves and she approaches him, learning from him that this is the town we saw destroyed at the beginning. It is obvious that Edgar is suffering since then, beating himself up for not being able to protect the people. He tries to scare her off so she would leave the fight and try to find someplace safe, but Kasumi does not budge. She scolds him first before doing her best to console him. Suddenly, a dark mage appears and attacks them, but they are rescued by Tina and the hooded figure. We learn that the hooded figure is Logi. Kasumi wonders where Lisbeth is, and they explain that they left her in a safe spot nearby. Even though Kasumi is not sure she can use her power again, she joins the others as they mount a final offensive against Destruct, wanting to do whatever she can to save her new friends. With the final assault beginning, the soldiers from the remaining towns join the squad. Together, they all launch the attack on the Tower of Babel. Countless dark mages appear to face them, and the battle begins. Edgar takes Kasumi on his bike, and they head straight for the dragon, with the plan being that Kasumi will try to dispel the darkness from its origin. In the battle, the dark phantoms engage those alchemists that summoned them originally, trying to force them to embrace the darkness and let the world end. Destruct casts another spell from the Tower of Babel, and a wave of darkness spreads across the world, slowly enveloping everything and everyone on its path and trapping them in darkness. Those still fighting at the foot of the Tower of Babel are not affected, but the dark phantoms seem to be even stronger. Znain gets in the way of Edgar, knocking him and Kasumi off the bike. Kasumi gets knocked out from the impact. While knocked out, she floats back into our world where she sees her city, the river where she fell in, before seeing her own unconscious body in a hospital bed, with her mother crying and apologizing next to her. The alchemists refuse to give up, struggling to fight back against the dark phantoms. Kasumi regains consciousness on the battlefield, realizing that she was wrong with doubting herself all the time. Fighting off the darkness within her, Kasumi gets back up. As she does, alchemy powers start returning to the alchemists, fighting on her side, giving them the power they need to fight back against the dark phantoms. Lisbeth is also invigorated by Kasumi's power and joins the fight. They try to convince the dark phantoms that their choice is wrong, and that the world should not be destroyed. Kasumi feels the suffering of all the dark mages and dark phantoms around her, releasing her power and transforming the nearby dark mages into white mages, who join them in the fight. Her power flows into the dark phantoms as well, changing them back into their original selves. Lisbeth realizes that Kasumi is not the alchemist of light, but instead someone who can sense others' emotions. And instead of defeating her enemies, she tries to understand them, an alchemist of sympathy. Destruct joins the fight and attacks. Everyone unites against the dark dragon, giving Kasumi a chance to get as close as possible to its main head. As she gets closer to her destination, she can feel the suffering from Destruct as well, his overwhelming hatred for humanity that did not leave him be. Destruct fights back desperately, trying to prevent Kasumi from getting too close, but all the alchemists and phantoms help her out, making sure she can reach her destination. Lisbeth and Tina do not want to lose their friend, so they try to convince her to not go, knowing that she will disappear if she dispels the darkness. But Kasumi is determined to save this world and her friends. She bids farewell to her new friends and thanks them for everything, before doing the final push. She lands on Destruct's old wound and confronts his feelings, showering him with her light and kindness. Destruct reverts to his tiny, harmless form before disappearing together with Kasumi. The Tower of Babel regains its original glow, and the darkness is lifted from the world. Phantoms make up with the alchemists and promise to protect the world in the future as well. Kasumi sees Ouroboros, who states that balance has been restored, before waking up back in our world in the hospital bed, with her mother next to her. Sometime in the future, we see Kasumi practicing acting with the drama club, knowing that she became honest with herself, chasing her true passion. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day, and see you in the next video.